You are imperfect, permanently and inevitably flawed, and you are beautiful. Hey everyone, welcome back to Feed Ed, the greatest podcast on the planet.
Welcome, guys, to our podcast. For today's episode, we wanted to talk about body positivity and acceptance. Truly a relevant topic, lalo na ngayon. Before we dive into that, though, let us introduce ourselves. Hi, I'm Sean.
I'm Sophie.
And I'm Andy. So, before we begin, what did you all do this weekend?
I went to the beach, got sunburned and everything. What did you two do yesterday?
Well, I stayed at home, watched a movie, popped some popcorn, typical Saturday stuff. You, Andy?
Well, it was actually my grandmother's birthday, and we had a big family reunion where I got to see all my relatives. And, as much as I love my family, I couldn't stop getting lots of comments about how I look. And it really got me thinking about our topic today, which is the body positivity movement.
Oh, what kind of comments ba nare-receive mo from your fam?
Alam mo naman, typical tita comments. Oh, you've gained weight. What's wrong? Why are you dressed like that? You're a beautiful woman. You have to wear a dress and put on some makeup. Or, oh, here, use this papaya soap. Pampaputi ng kutis. And while I know that deep down they're not doing it to insult or hurt me, ang hirap na di hurt.
I get what you mean. Comments talaga like that, about how we look or dress, can cause a toll on our self-esteem, lalo na when it's told by people we love, family and friends. I feel like every day there's a new beauty trend or a new product that's meant to change our bodies and how we look, especially as Filipinos.
Exactly. I tried to do a bit of research, and it's clear that our societal standard of beauty is deeply rooted in influences, specifically from when we were colonized by Spain, where fair, pale skin and dainty, perfect features were very dominant. I mean, it's much more than the comments I received at the gathering. Even the media has a role to play. They've influenced so much of how we perceive our bodies, our faces, everything.
That's true, that's true. May sinulat actually si Vicente Rafael para sa Rappler dati, no? He was talking about the countless billboards that flooded Metro Manila because the advertisements were for beauty soaps and other skin whitening products that target the insecurities of our people.
I do feel like we've taken a few steps to address that though. What about the morenas morenos who've reclaimed the terms to feel more beautiful about themselves?
Though I truly admire the confidence that they bring, it feels like what's been done isn't enough. There are still countless skin whitening products in existence, and many Filipinos who believe that being lighter skinned is beautiful.
Alam mo, these beauty standards really affect women and gender minorities too, especially for people who aren't cisgender. They often experience something called gender dysphoria. It's parang this sense of unease or dissatisfaction that can be so intense at times that it can lead to depression and anxiety. Being out and accepting yourself is amazing, syempre, but it doesn't take away gender and body dysphoria.
Oo, gets ko where you're coming from. It can really leave us feeling unsatisfied with how we present ourselves based on our gender expression eh. I was actually talking to a friend who identifies as trans and it really impacts them whenever they're told na huwag kang manamit ng ganyan, pang babae yan, pambabae yung ganyang color or yung ganyang style because it really affects their gender dysphoria. Imagine waking up on some days na parang you have this feeling of intense discomfort in your own body, making you feel like anything you do to help yourself feel better isn't enough.
I also feel like there's this overwhelming pressure on people to have their bodies look a certain way. I keep seeing skinny influencers across social media, the diet practices they promote, and it makes me feel awful about myself, like I'm forced to conform.
'Di ba? Ang daming naapektuhan sa mga bagay na ganyan, especially the youth. There's an estimated over 5 million people around the Philippines who suffer from eating disorders and practices. Some often avoid food, eat way too little or too much, and they force themselves na magsuka depending on extremely different reasons. These practices not only affect the psychological state of people, but their physical health as well.
That's truly disappointing. Many studies have shown that a great number of teenagers experience depression, social anxiety, and much more because of how they perceive their body. Nakakalungkot to hear, but it makes me feel validated to learn that I'm not alone.
I affirm you for coming to that realization. It's really shocking to learn how much damage body issues can really do to us, you know. And the common move that I usually see people do is to go towards the body positivity movement, just for that, extra boost of confidence. Pero while I can appreciate the movement for promoting acceptance and inclusivity, because it does naman. Mahirap pa rin to accept your body wholeheartedly. Like, it can leave you feeling guilty, kasi alam mo how much it has helped and uplifted others.
Okay na okay lang to express how you feel on this topic. But why do you say that?
Constantly telling myself to feel beautiful just feels frustrating at times. From my research, many have felt that certain pressure or emptiness when they believe that their value as a human being is somewhat based on their physical appearance alone.
I understand that. Our body image, whether or not it's positively perceived, is still closely linked to our mental health. Nakikita rin natin to when we place a humongous focus on appearances through the many influencers, faces of the movement, who are pressured by the public not to change their unconventional features, even when it means that they are simply caring for their body.
Body positivity shouldn't have a face. It should mean loving every aspect of your body and caring for it how you please, just as long as it isn't hurting you.
Per tama, maybe you don't always have to force yourself to feel beautiful. As a person worthy of respect, you don't need to be.
Perhaps we can acknowledge that we won't always feel good about our bodies, and that's perfectly okay. The only constant thing about our body is that it is ever changing, and so too is our perception of it. One thing we can control.
Why don't we focus on how our body has served us throughout life, no matter the level of functionality it has provided for us? Ito ay tinatawag na body neutrality. Like body positivity, neutrality attempts to challenge traditional societal standards, but it instead places absolutely no value on one's physical appearance. It helps us understand the changes that take place in our body, like aging, which is something we can't control. In all this frustration and disappointment, we can slowly, but wholeheartedly, accept our bodies for what it is.
Ang galing nun. And hey, what if we consider their duality, We can perceive it as two opposite sides of the same coin of acceptance. According to Kristen Fuller, body positivity encourages us to be happy with our bodies, despite what we've been conditioned to think throughout our childhood.
On the other hand, body neutrality can be useful on days where our positivity doesn't feel genuine or is too big of a step to take. It helps us appreciate our bodies for what it truly is and how it will continue to help us for the rest of our lives.
At the end of the day, it's important to be grateful and acknowledge every aspect of our body, whether it's good or bad. We call this week's episode The Standards kasi ikaw ang in charge of defining your own standards, not anyone else. They don't always have to be beautiful, just as long as you take steps to feel more content with yourself.
With that, of course, it's also important to take care of your body to stay healthy. Of course naman, our appearance is still significant in how we express our identities, but we still need to be mindful about our safety to change in a positive way. Also, maybe it's not so productive to just comment on somebody else's body, no matter the intention, especially one that isn't your own. Baka lang.
Your body is worth so much more than how it looks. All bodies are different and can achieve various things. Each and every one of us, no matter our shape and size, are capable of reaching extraordinary feats. We simply need to be honest and genuine with ourselves. Being unkind to your body in any given moment won't change your body in that moment. It will change the way you feel about being in your body. You can interact with your body differently. You can choose your body back, regardless of how easy or difficult it is to live there.